Hi, welcome to the show. I'm Vida and this is the weekly news roundup. Our top story this week. Rescued worker pulled two survivors after deadly building collapse in Sihanoukville. China provides new equipment for mine clearance activities. Authorities destroy tons of drugs seen in operations. Court sentenced Russian Today news fixer Rat Rodmany to 2 years in prison. Five companies receive corporate social responsibility awards. We begin with our top national stories. 2 days after the deadly building collapse in Sihanoukville that claims the lives of dozens of victims, rescue teams pulled out two survivors after they were trapped for about 50 hours. Kaki, an 18-year-old worker, was pulled out of the debris along with his relative, who was also a worker. Sadly, two others found with the surviving victims were dead, bringing the death toll to 28. Nearly 30 construction workers have been rescued from the debris following the collapse. Witnesses and victims said the building collapsed on Saturday at about 4 a.m. The collapse also destroyed an adjacent Japanese restaurant, trapping the owner, his family, and his employees. Yun Min, former provincial governor who resigned from the collapse, said the building did not have proper permits for construction. Prime Minister Hun Sen accepted Mr. Min's resignation after he later failed to properly manage the booming construction sector in his jurisdiction. Mr. Hun Sen, who visited the site on Monday, said, quote, "It was a tragedy and a lesson." He said the government will thoroughly inspect all buildings and determine whether they are legal and up to standard. The Chinese government earlier this week provided new equipment to the Cambodian Mine Action and Victim Assistance Authority. The equipment came as the number of mine casualties jumped nearly double during the first 6 months of this year when compared to the same period last year. CMAA Vice President Li Tuch held a handing over ceremony at its quarters along with Chinese Ambassador Wang Wentian. The equipment provided includes cars, motorbikes, metal detectors, material boxes, protective clothes, helmets, exploded initiators, and printer ink. Mr. Tuch noted that it was the first time China donated cars at his request. He said he also requested the Chinese government to assist the CMAA in construction a new headquarters. Mr. Kane made a warning as he oversaw the burning of 2 tons of drugs seen during the marking of International Day Against Drugs and Trafficking. He said, quote, "Drug dealing is a complex crime," adding that all police officers must not underestimate the issue despite a lack of capital punishment for offenders. According to General Mirvirat, Secretary General to the National Authority for Combating Drugs, police have seized 310 kilograms of drugs and arrested a dozen suspected ringleaders during the first 5 months of this year. Phnom Penh Municipal Court prosecutor Kao Suthia said between June 2017 and this month, the court handled 6,830 cases. Phnom Penh Municipal Court earlier this week sentenced Rat Rodmany to 2 years in prison after he was found guilty of being involved in the productions of a sex trafficking documentary. The documentary was dismissed as fake news by the government. Judge Goisal said Mr. Rodmany was charged with incitement to discriminate for helping Russian Today produce My Mother Sold Me, a documentary that told the story of 3 young girls whose virginities were reportedly sold by their mothers. After it went viral, a mother and daughter featured in it retracted their statement following police questioning. And on to our top business stories. 5 companies were given commendations for responsible practices and contribution to sustainable economic development in the kingdom during Eurocham first CSR contest and awards on Wednesday. More than 2 dozen companies applied to be nominated, but only 17 were shortlisted. These companies represent 25 CSR projects. The judges chose Khmer Green Charcoal, Ngai Bang Chat, Kulara Water, Artisan Ongko, and Chipmong Insi. Awards given were grouped into different categories, including for the most outstanding achievement, best small medium enterprises, and jury's choice. The awards were administered by representatives of the Eurocharm Board, the Eurocharm Business Committee, the Councillor du Commerce Exterior, UNIDO, and the academic sector. A panel of judges was presided by Sokchanda Saupir, Secretary General of the Council for the Development of Cambodia, and European Union Ambassador George Eger. This is all for this week. Join us again for another episode of the Weekly News Roundup. I'm Vida. Have a good weekend.